up, What Nerdigans? This is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's anime Nerdigan review is going to be for Berserk 2017, episode 11, aka episode 23, titled Proclaimed Omens. And I'm really sorry this video is late. Between E3 and getting sick, I am just completely behind. I'm hopefully going to catch up today. But anyway, this episode of Berserk was really disappointing. And I mean, first of all, I have a feeling we'll get the Kushgarin and Hawk stuff next week, or at least I hope we do. That was skipped because usually Berserk anime, especially this season, has retcon, so I'm fine with that. If they go back to it next episode, I'd be fine, but it just didn't make any sense to me to skip the whole Kushgarin and the Hawk and all that. That just did not make any sense to me whatsoever. And then the chapter that this episode starts at is like, it's mid chapter 236, so we don't get to see them have any fun at the ocean. You know what, I'm gonna read it, fuck it. This is what was skipped. So you have them running on the beach, and Isidero was saying freaking huge, and you have him in the ocean, and he comes out of the ocean with like seaweed and shit, and Sepiko says that looks like fun, and there's a little puck, and then Sepiko says here, and I kind of think it's important, which was, I understand Isidero grew up in the mountains, so it comes as no surprise. And Evilera says, what a child, getting worked up just seeing the sea. It's just a big puddle, and it's sticky and stinks like salt, right, Sharik? Right, Sharik? Eh? And then we see Guts coming, and Sharik says thanks, and Evilera says, what's got you so distracted? Because remember, or in this episode we do get to see that Sharik is developing a crush on Guts. Yes, she is. But anyway, this part was skipped too. Guts, are you alright? My body's not that delicate, don't worry, but you really should take off the armor and rest for at least 4 or 5 more days. The talisman your mistress carved into the armor, and Casca's necklace probably won't last forever as substitutes. I've already been laid up almost a month. We can't waste any more time. The pain definitely doesn't fade as much as it does when I'm fighting, but still, thanks to this thing, our journey won't be delayed. Even the wounds are a lot better thanks to your strong medicine and the bugs. And Evilera says, what do you mean bugs? Because bugs, she was referring to the pixies. Don't let me with that chestnut runt. And then Sharik says here, do not be negligent. That armor is cursed. You could end up going berserk in battle again. Which I would have liked to have that portion there, because it's going to come up again, which it did come which was in the anime, though. I will say that. Oh, and Puck's like, you're so mean. And Evilera says it appears. And then Guts goes on to say, but now I've got a reliable magic user. We're both elves. Puck is so adorable. We're both elves here. Have some sticky, clean evil airhead, and sticky cling. Sticky. But and then Sharik says, but I know it's rash. It really was deadly after that battle. The armor ate into his body for days, unable to be removed, and the bleeding continued. When we finally removed it, the sharp pain made him repeatedly slip in and out of consciousness. Each time that wound would reopen. I really wish this part was in this episode. It would have been nice. No matter how robust he is, if a mere human is to exchange blows with those monsters, for that he must as a human become a monster, but that time in Kilfoff, if something like that happened again, no, even now his survival's not guaranteed. I don't know if this is really the, this is nice, huh? Oh, and, you know, then Guts is watching Casca again, in the water. I thought never again, never could I watch the sun and sunset and be this calm. Never again could I sleep the night through. And then, everyone, let us, fend off the sea breeze up there for the night, and that's what Sepiko says. And this is where the anime, for the most part, starts. But of course we don't have the elf saying he's lost weight. Can he still swing that sword? Yeah, that part was skipped. And then this part was skipped from Sharik, because, like, I swear to God, it's just, anime is just so bipolar on inner monologues. It drives me nuts. Sharik's inner monologue, like for this one, for example, I like the wounds haven't closed much on this journey. In addition, if the sea breeze blows over him, despite it being night, he won't be able to sleep. And then Puck says, later on, you know, this part was skipped too. Puck says he shrivels up daily, and Evilera says, be thankful. Like, a lot of the elf stuff is skipped, and it gets really annoying. Sepiko said this, and this was skipped, which was, "This is my first bounty of the sea in so long. I wish to practice my art. Is it too salty?" And then Guts says, and this is after Guts is eating the food. He says, it just reminded me of the cuts in my mouth. The stuff is good." Oh, and this part was which is kind of annoying because this was kind of funny. I don't like it when a lot of the comedy gets cut, but this was it. Isidoro said, "What's with the white hair, though?" And Puck says, "Yeah." And Isidoro continues on to say, "You don't look like the black swordsman now, the slightly white swordsman." And Puck says, "The mostly black swordsman." And Guts says later on, "Not bad. You're a handy guy." Oh, and this is going on to talking about Elfium, which if you're in the manga, all caught up in the manga, that's where we're at right now. And Isidoro says, "If it ain't recorded, hey." And Puck says, "So long as we have my elfin navigation." This is like after Sharik describes the Elfium. Sepiko then says to Puck, "You mean a homing instinct like a bird?" And then Isidoro says right here, he says, won't they be the ones treating you like a bumpkin?" And Sharik says, "Who are you to talk?" And Eva Lara says, "The place you lived was quite nice but primitive." And this is in regards to Puck. And Puck says, "Kind of gross, maybe." And this part was skipped when, Lady Farnese was asking a request. And Sepiko said right before that, which was, "Lady Farnese, what did you say?" And Puck, we don't get Master Puck anymore. It's really annoying. Like, we've never seen Master Puck, and that really annoys the fuck out of me about this anime. But anyway, Puck says, "Your dirty disposition shone through, dear disciple." And Fernice says this, and this was during her little dialogue, which was, "In this unknown world into which I took my first steps, I was powerless. I just hugged my knees and cowered." And I don't understand why that part of her dialogue was skipped, because that shows Lady Farnes's growth as a character. And Eva Lair says, "It's kind of starting to sound like flattery, and everything she says is exaggerated." And this is after the whole thing. And Eva Lara says, "By default, that makes you my servant," after, Sharik accepts Lady Farnese. And Puck says, "I want this disciple obedient like that. The witch hunter a witch." Yeah, I thought, yeah, that was skipped. But the thing that kind of bothered me, in particular, and the rest of the chapter, outside of those things I mentioned, was really good. It's just that we didn't see the Skull Knight at the end of this portion of the anime, which kind of bothered me because the Skull Knight is coming, and we know he's coming. Now we get to chapter 237, and this is when Sharik's outside, staring at the ocean, and this part was skipped. "Guts, you cannot sleep either." And Guts says, "Pretty much." And Sharik says, "Why must you wear your sword? It will overtax you, or relax you." And Guts says, "Habit. I just can't relax without it." And Sharik says, "Your wounds might hurt, but even a forced rest would help." And Eva Lair says, "Put yourself in our shoes. Hey, you listening?" And then I didn't understand why this part was skipped, because it does get mentioned later on in the anime. This portion kind of does near the end, but when Guts puts on the Berserker armor. But yeah, this was skipped. I don't care much for the night sea. When you stare out at it, it gets to feeling like you'll be sucked to the bottom of those pitch black swells. And then Sharik says, this part was skipped, which was, "I'm now in a place I don't recognize, though it's been several days. Since then, it feels like I've come a long way." Eva Lara then says, "I bet you know all about that." And Sharik says, "This person." And now we get to the Skull Knight. The Skull Knight scene was really good, and we learn more about the Berserker armor. And I really love the stuff that we learned about the Berserker armor, being explained. But this part was skipped, though, from what, hold on a second. It was, let me finish the parts that were skipped, and then I'll mention the part that I did not understand for sure was skipped. Guts says, Guts says, "I doubt it's to check on my recovery. Don't tell me your being here means that there's an apostle nearby," and I don't understand why. And also Guts says, "How you know about that?" And then Evil Air says, that sounds about nasty enough for a cursed item from our place. Oh, sorry. And Evil Air says, and this is after the explanation from the Skull Knight. Evil Air says, what's with you? He is... And Guts is like thinking, don't steal my thunder. And, he goes on to mention... And Shariq's talking about how the Skull Knight saved them and stuff. And Evil Air says, unneeded help. This is the part that I did not understand was skipped, which was when Shariq says to the Skull Knight, she claimed and this is about, Flora, which was, she claimed the Berserker armor was a very dangerous fetish, which they don't use fetish, and I don't understand why, but that's what it's called in the manga. It's called a fetish, and prudently applied a seal to it, yet she always gazed upon it somewhat longingly. And then the Skull Knight responds to her like this: you are quite you are quite shrewd, as I should expect from the dear student of the Witch of the Spirit Tree Forest. Indeed, that armor is something I once wore in the distant past within the reason of time. Why was this not mentioned? Why did you not have the Skull Knight at least mention that? Because that was his armor. And that's something you anime onlys don't know now, is unless you read the manga. I'm telling you, read the manga. Just do it. That part was completely skipped. Let's see... And Shariq says, reason of time, that means he's... And the Skull Knight then goes on, the Hawk has but one goal. You should know it better than anyone. I did not understand why that was skipped either. That was dumb. Okay, chapter 238, I'm not going to fully cover, because this is what really disappointed me about Berserk this week the most. Was, remember the boy, if you're... reading the manga, this is in chapter 238. Casca finds like a little boy on the shore and takes him with her, and it looks like it looks like the boy has her hair and her eyes, but like the skin is white and stuff. So she takes him into the cave, and I'm just like and there's no mention of this kid at all. You don't see, the kid is not even in this episode, and it's just like, what? This kid is a huge part, because it's, remember when Casca had that really was, and it was shown in the manga too, was holding that really creepy demon fetus. And, now I'm thinking about it, it's probably her and Griffith's kid, which is really creepy as fuck. But they didn't show that. That was the only thing that really bothered me about chapter 238, and that's why I'm not going to even talk too much more about it, because what's the point when, like, the content, some of the content is there, but, like, the stuff about the boy isn't, and just made no sense. Anyway, and I got really pissed in my notes. I even said, where the fuck is the child? Come on, anime. How can you cut that portion out? How can you cut... And because the child's in chapter 239 as well. Like, how could you cut all the stuff out about the kid? This just doesn't make sense. But, now we're getting to chapter 239. Isidero, this is what was skipped. Well, what's this freaking huge lizard? A dragon? A dragon? Yeah, these lizards here, these crocodiles, they are all son of Sobex. I'm just calling it as it is. And yes, I know I've read too many... Rick Riordan books recently, so sorry. I've been binge reading for a project that I'm working on for the channel, but I don't think I'm gonna finish it right. It's gonna be a bit, but anyway. And then Sipika says, no, this is a crocodile, an animal from a foreign land. What? And then Isidoro says, it stood up. Crocodiles are crazy. It's got a harpoon too. Like, why wasn't this? Oh, God damn it! This episode really pissed me off. This part was there. Here we go. Isidoro said, sweet, the burst open, as good as time bombs. And Puck's full moon limited time magic blowout, because remember the full moon. Yeah. And then, oh man, when Sepiko flew, I gotta talk about that, because that was so well done. Because, like, even in the manga, you saw the little individual spirits or whatever, wind spirits. Oh my god, it was so beautiful. That part was so nice. I really, really liked that part. But this part was, dialogue was skipped. Isidoro said he flew, and then Puck says, like laundry dancing on the wind. And Sepiko said as well, it does seem to function better than usual. And then, like, no Master Puck, because Puck was like, first hit it with magic berries, and then attack after it flinches, and Isidoro's like, too many details. And, like, after Isidoro, like, basically almost went into the son of one of the many sons of Sobek's mouth. And I'm starting to think the Kushkarans are probably Egyptian, because that would totally make a whole lot of sense. Puck says, I don't think you'll fill its stomach, you're just bite-sized. And then right after that, Puck says, repeat, and this is where we definitely see Master Puck, but no anime. Puck says, repeat not the same mistake. And Isidoro says, you're really acting like a master today. Right, so, like, that and damn, there's a lot of them. And then Puck says, they're slower in trolls, but bigger and tougher. This could be a problem. And then, and I even wrote in my notes, there's still no kid. Why the fuck is there still no kid? But chapter 240, oh my god, chapter 240 was fucking perfect. I have no complaints. Nothing was skipped. It was beautiful. I was very, very happy with it. And then, let's see, chapter 41. I think that's the problem. Is I'm gonna say this right now because I'm seeing where the rest of my notes, how many chapters they did. Berserk, the problem with Berserk, and it's a very similar problem to Renai Boken, is that it's just rushing so much. They're trying to do so much in an episode, and it really, really bothers me. I don't like that they're doing this. And I understand with Renai Boken's situation, it's, they have a limited budget. They don't know if they're going to get another season. And with Berserk, I don't know why Kentaro did not step in and say, this is not right. This is not right. We shouldn't be doing this. We're cutting out a lot of the lore. And I did not, I gotta say, Kentaro, if you worked on this episode, I am extremely disappointed in you. Anyway, to chapter 241, let's get to the parts that were skipped there, which was Sharik saying, I do not know, but as with the familiars, it too is a life form produced by an ethereal body inhabiting some kind of animal. Again, we're skipping lore. And then Sharik says, Sharik mentioned this as well. It doesn't even care about the bulwark. It's too dense. Spiritual spells alone won't work. Physical phenomena have to accompany the spell. And Isidoro said, your magic ain't working. And Ivalera says, be quiet, monkeys. And then, oh my god, then chapter 242's adaptation. Oh my god, it was so fucking good. But this, this part was skipped. When Guts, this was during his inner monologue, it swells blackly from the expanse of the dark night. And this, I even put in my notes, this shit is badass when Guts is in that Berserker armor. He looks like a boss. He is just destroying motherfuckers, and it is inhuman. And Isidoro says, here, at this rate, before I forget, no, I will mention after that. I know where I'm going to mention. Okay, Isidoro says, and this part was skipped, at this rate he's going to kill every last one of them. That's one sick fighting style, though. They're not resistant. He's not hesitating. I feel kind of ill. And then Puck calls him, Guts an animal butcher. And then, but right before Sepiko talks about the legend of the Berserker, Sepiko says, I hope I'm wrong. But that part was was skipped. But, oh my god, the legend, I almost forgot about the legend of the Berserker until this episode. But everything that happens with, the only thing I wish that they would have shown, and this is when, in regards to Sharik, this episode ends in the middle of chapter 243, by the way, and I really liked how it ended. It was so good. But the only complaint I have is that I really wish that, like, at the end of chapter 242, they have this beautiful, like, avatar of, like, Sharik, and it was so gorgeous, and I wish they would have had that, but oh well. But the rest of the episode, like Sharik dragging Guts out, oh my god, it was so good. But again, like, the thing that would have made this episode so much better, and yes, I understand if there was, more dialogue cut out because of it, I really wish the child was there. Like, I would have forgiven everything else if they would have had the kid there. That's what really pissed me off the most about this episode. But there's other disappointments, but I will get to that I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to that in a separate video. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about this episode. Like, were you disappointed about the kid not being there like I was? Were you disappointed about some of the what was it? The lore being skipped? Like, I just don't understand. I have to ask, what the fuck is going on, Kentaro? Because you worked on this, or I'm assuming you worked on this because you put the manga in hiatus to work on this. So, but I will say the art is definitely a lot better than last year. But oh man, this season has been very mixed for me of Berserk, and I'm very curious what you nerdigans think as well. I wish they would just fucking ditch the CGI, in all honesty, but whatever. Anyway, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Nerdigans Inc. If you love what I'm doing and want to contribute to the Nerdigans Inc. expansion, there's a few ways you could do that. You could donate to the Nerdigans Inc. PayPal, Patreon, or purchase something off the Nerdigans Inc. Amazon wishlist. All those links are in the description box below. Also, make sure you follow me on the Twits, aka Twitter. Follow me, follow my Twitch channel, and friend me on PlayStation Network. All that's in the description box below. Until next time, Nerdigans, I'll be seeing you later. Bye!